أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be unto you. Thank you for tuning in. And in this short talk, which I really intend to only be a few minutes, inshallah. And we want to discuss this wild claim that is being told to us by those in high places about the unvaccinated population and the vaccinated population. So in the latest edition of the Final Call, the question is asked, will forced vaccinations be next? And we have to ask that question because if you listen to the media reports and the type of pressure they are putting on the American public to vaccinate, threatening people's jobs, making it hard for people to travel, making it hard for people to get an education. Even simple things like the other day, or put this on my mind, it was something somewhat trivial, but I ran into one of our great old school, some say original school rap artists or producers, brother said G, and he said, because we knew each other from a long time, and he invited me to a concert that they're doing up in Orchard Beach. I believe KRS-One is on the bill, Ultramagnetics, a few of the artists from my era that I know well and, came up with. And so I was like, oh yeah? I said, that sounds good. Shortly after, the decree came down. Think about this. A decree came down from the mayor of New York City. And that decree was that these outdoor concerts, hip-hop concerts, are only available if you pre-register and show proof of vaccination. So now the incentive is, if you want to get into any indoor concerts or indoor dining, you have to show proof of vaccination. And this is the first city in America to implement such a policy. So, hey, I guess I won't be attending that concert. However, this is like a pretext. And then they're offering $100. Some states, I think it's only $50. In New York City, they offer you $100 if you take the shot. So, so along with the media pressure and these incentives, they're really going hard to get everybody vaccinated. And so the argument is that it is the unvaccinated that's the problem. So the narrative is, they are inspiring family members to pressure, their fellow members of their household to get vaccinated. Like, do it for all of us. Like, by you not being vaccinated, you're putting all of us in danger. So they're turning the vaccinated population against the unvaccinated population. And they're doing this with this narrative that came from Anthony Fauci, that 99% of the new COVID cases are unvaccinated. So what I want to do in this short time is examine that claim, because that claim is absolutely a claim that cannot possibly be verified by Anthony Fauci. And I'm going to tell you why it cannot possibly be verified by Anthony Fauci or anyone. Because the CDC has said publicly that it has not collected the data of the new COVID cases from all of the states. And that the states that did submit the data, they only gave partial data. So far they only have 30 of the states. And there are two main states that are holding back their data. Why? We can only guess why. But the two states are the two states that were hit the hardest by COVID. One, here in New York City. New York has not submitted all of its data of hospitalizations and deaths of the vaccinated in particular. And, I guess the unvaccinated as well. CDC does not have New York's data. And they don't have Florida's data, which surprisingly, Florida has surpassed New York in COVID deaths. That's interesting because the minister made a special prayer for Florida. Yes. And but you go back and watch the criterion. I'm going to stick to the topic. But Florida has not submitted its data yet to the CDC. So there are 20 states that have not yet submitted all of their data to the CDC. But yet, you have Anthony Fauci making this claim that 99% of the new cases are unvaccinated individuals, and he doesn't even have all the data. So this is obviously a narrative that they're creating to pressure people, to make people believe that it is the unvaccinated that is causing the spread. Now, with the limited data that is available, it's the opposite narrative. So the CDC was able to conduct studies in certain areas. One was right here on the East Coast in Massachusetts. And this particular town, the CDC was alarmed because 75% of the new COVID cases were among those who were vaccinated. So Anthony Fauci is saying one thing without data backing his claim up, saying 99% of the new cases are the unvaccinated. But when you do study town by town, county by county, the data tells a different story. So here it is, 74% in this particular town in Massachusetts are the vaccinated who are the new cases. Then in LA, they did a study of 10 counties. And you can find this all on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Elijah Shabazz Ba. I have the information posted. So they did a study with 10 counties in LA because, California, the state of California is being hit hard by COVID at this time. And they noticed that out of these 10 counties, 5 were counties that were highly vaccinated, and the other 5 were under vaccinated. In the 5 counties that had a high rate of vaccination also had high rate of new COVID cases. But then the counties that were highly unvaccinated, they have decreasing, not just less COVID cases, decreasing. Their COVID cases are on the decrease in the less vaccinated counties. So they put a spin on it. They put an expert on there, and his narrative was that the 5 counties that were, had higher COVID rates, even though they were highly vaccinated, he said it was because they were densely populated. And it was that this densely population effect that was causing the uptick in COVID cases among these vaccinated. So it sounded like a plausible argument, but then I did some fact checking myself. So those 5 counties that were under vaccinated. First, let's go to the ones that are highly vaccinated. I'm probably saying it wrong. Almeida, I believe. Contra Costa, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. So those are the 5 counties highly vaccinated, but yet the COVID cases are on the rise. So there's these other counties. One is Glen County. The other is Lassen. The other is Del Norte. The other is San Benito. And this other one has the word doc in it. I can't read what it says there. But there's a 5th county. Again, I have it on my Facebook page. So for the most part, that claim is true. However, this county, Del Norte, has a more densely populated, it's a more densely populated county than both, Contra Costa and San Diego. Contra Costa and San Diego. So Del Norte is more densely populated than 2 of the counties that have high vaccination rates. And this has a very low vaccination rate, and yet their new COVID cases are decreasing. So that whole thing about the dense population is causing the uptick doesn't add up, because this is a densely populated county. The people are unvaccinated, largely unvaccinated, and their COVID cases are on the decrease. So these are places that are actually turning in data, whereas this 99% figure is based on no data, because they don't have all the data to even say that 99% of the new cases are the unvaccinated. But from what the CDC does have confirmed so far of deaths among the vaccinated are right now at, so far confirmed, I'm sure there's far more. So far confirmed is at 1,400. That's what's confirmed, 1,400. So the spin they are putting on those numbers now is like, oh, well, 99% of the vaccinated have not been hospitalized or died from COVID. So they dismiss this 1,400 number. But think about that logic. Think about that logic. Suppose I tell you, like in Afghanistan, 2,000 American soldiers died in Afghanistan, right? Oh, these are brave men. Let's have a parade for them. They'll get medals. The president will write letters to their families. They will not dismiss those numbers by saying, well, 99% of the military did not get killed in Afghanistan. They wouldn't say such a thing. That would be disrespectful. They wouldn't dismiss the deaths of those men and women in the military simply because they only represent 1% of the military personnel, or less than 1% of the military personnel. They're not going to dismiss their deaths by saying 99% of those enlisted in the military did not die in Afghanistan. No, they're going to say 2,000 of our soldiers died. And, and they're going to honor them. But when it comes to the deaths of the vaccinated, they say, oh, they just dismissed the 1,400 deaths. They're less than 99% of those that have been vaccinated. So those 1,400 deaths is like, it doesn't even matter. And they don't even mention it most of the time. They don't even mention the fact that they have 1,400 confirmed so far deaths from vaccinated Americans. So this is something you need to think about. Do you really want to roll that dice and be in that 1% that is hospitalized and died? In the other way, they're playing with the numbers. This is another way they're playing with the numbers. One, there's a story out, you can look it up, where the CDC is admitting that it's withholding data. It's withholding information. And they're only telling the people what they feel is good enough to report to the people. So in other words, the CDC knows more than what it's saying, particularly when it comes to breakthrough cases. Now, what are breakthrough cases? You probably heard that term in the media. Breakthrough cases mean when people are vaccinated and they still get hospitalized, or they still catch COVID, or they die from COVID. When a vaccinated person is either, gets COVID, hospitalized for COVID, or dies from COVID, that is called a breakthrough case because it broke through the vaccine. So the CDC is saying that we're not going to report all breakthrough cases. So what they're doing basically is that every unvaccinated case, they definitely want to report. And every unvaccinated hospitalization, and they want to put those numbers out there. But the vaccinated, they're skewering, the numbers. Then the other technique of not reporting the truth of the vaccinated population that is dying and being hospitalized from COVID, particularly with the deaths, they are saying, oh, we're not sure that they died from COVID. They could have died from something else. So that's another reason why deaths among the vaccinated are underreported, is because their narrative is they could have died from something else. Even though they were hospitalized for COVID, they're saying, well, the actual death could have been from something else other than COVID. But they were hospitalized for COVID before they died. So this is the other thing. And however, with the unvaccinated, where they're hospitalized and die from COVID, then it's like, oh, they definitely died from COVID. They never have a narrative that, oh, this unvaccinated person might have died from something else other than COVID. That's not the narrative. They don't even entertain that. that this unvaccinated person might have died for something other than COVID, but the vaccinated person, oh, this person might have died from something else other than COVID. So suffice it to say, it is, again, the CDC is admitting a cover-up. This is not me saying it or accusing them. They admit it. They admit that, oh, we're not going to report every breakthrough case because they want you to believe in this vaccination. So this is where we are. We're in a very special place right now. And, those of us who are religious people, if you're Muslim, seek refuge in Allah, keep up prayer, and we just got to rely on Allah. And it's time, if you're a Christian, however you pray or whatever your faith tradition, if this is definitely a time where you have to seek refuge in Allah, seek refuge in God, because we're in a very, very dark hour right now. And, they're building up building the case or setting the stage to try to justify forced vaccinations. And all of you who are playing into this by arguing with your loved ones and doing their work for them by pressuring your loved ones to take this vaccination shot, even though there's data that's saying that people are still catching COVID and dying from after taking the vaccination, even though there's data that's saying that the populations that are highly vaccinated are more likely to spread the COVID. There's, the data, the actual studies are bringing this point out. But for the sake, to be on the safe side, the possibility of this point out, but that's what it's saying so far. So, all of you who know the truth, stay strong. Stay strong, and, may Allah bless us, with the victory. Truth will always be vindicated in the end. So just hang in there. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully what we said was beneficial. May Allah bless you all. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace.